There's a bit of a stir on the internet right now over how closely you should track your investments, how closely you should track your money. And I've been a fee-only financial advisor for over 20 years. I've seen hundreds of families navigate this. There's no right or wrong answer for anybody, but I do have an opinion. So let's go for a walk and chat about this. First, I want to tell you what is causing this stir on the internet and why this topic is trending right now. And it's because there was a young woman by the name of Emma Chamberlain, where 2 or 3 years ago, she was one of the most popular YouTubers on the platform. And she signed a $20 million deal, or it's rumored it was $20 million, to move her channel over to Spotify. And Emma, you seem like a wonderful young woman, and I'm thrilled that you had such a nice win. But what Emma said in this podcast interview was, Emma said, you know, I really have no idea how much money I have. I don't look at it. I don't track it. And of course, that caused a bit of a stir where people are saying, Emma, that's irresponsible of you. And other people are saying, good for you, Emma. So I wanted to jump in the fray and share my views because I think it can be helpful for all of you. Again, as a fee-only financial advisor for over 20 years, I've seen different people navigate this differently. But one of the things I can share is neither extreme is good. Not tracking your money at all, you know, unless if you have $20 million and you're 20 and you're making good money, maybe you don't have to do that. You better have a team that you trust, right? You better have a team that's a fiduciary to you 100% of the time, because you want to make sure that these people are doing what's in your best interest. Not looking at it at all, not having any idea how much money you have is probably too far on one extreme, even if it's family members that are managing your money for you, assuming that they have the skills to do it. You know, that's a lot of temptation. People can do unfortunately, sometimes people do bad things. So that's one extreme, but I also want to talk about the other extreme, which is where you're watching it too closely, where you're tracking it too closely. And what I have seen that do is steal the joy out of folks. Like in Emma's case, Emma won, right? She's in her 20s. She had that nice payday. She gets to live whatever, you know, the best life, what that means to her. She gets to live that best life. She gets to work hard to become the best version of herself, whether that means she continues to do podcasts or she bows out of the public light and does something completely different. And she's earned that. She's won. But what I've seen on the other end of the spectrum, when people overwatch, is they've won, but it doesn't feel like they've won. And there tends to be two main causes of this. One is just a feeling of scarcity, that they have to track it because it can all be taken away from them. And it can be, there's some truth to that. But again, surround yourself with good people that you know you can trust, that are skilled and have your best interest in mind. So that's one thing to take over the scarcity thing. Now that's a psychological issue. And frankly, I hear this quite a bit, where even when people have abundance, they still feel scarcity. And that psychological issue is just not going to take care of itself. Emma going from $20 million to $40 million is not going to solve that issue. But, you know, maybe seeing a therapist and talking through what's driving that feeling of scarcity, that can be helpful. And it's probably something you're going to have to work on for most of your life. But surrounding yourself with people that understand that feeling of scarcity can help. Surrounding yourself with professionals that can help give you frameworks that can help. But you're probably never going to completely solve that issue. And I can tell you, more money is not what's going to solve that issue. So one issue is the scarcity mindset. And that's well over half of the people that I see overtrack their finances are coming from there. It's really this feeling that it can all be taken away. And, you know, mea culpa, I suffer from this myself. I've shared on the channel earlier, I grew up in a family that both my parents worked very, very hard. They worked a lot of hours. and we always had what we needed, but I did feel a scarcity. And so that's something that, you know, I'm always gonna have to deal with. So again, you know, talking to people, having people around you can help with that. The other issue that I see is with the success also comes a little bit of a burden of feeling that you have to be a fiduciary. In this feeling of you have to be a fiduciary and take care of this money, you know, only accept that responsibility if you feel indeed that is the case. That's important to you and you want to do that, because it can steal joy from you, thinking, okay, you know, in Emma's case, $20 million in your 20s is a lot. Could Emma grow that to $100 million in her lifetime? Easily. Could she grow to $1 billion in her lifetime? Maybe. And if she feels this responsibility to maximize the wealth, that will steal a lot of joy from Emma. So do you really need to maximize on the wealth, or do you want to maximize on your life? And when I heard Emma's interview where she said, you know, she really doesn't know, she doesn't track her money. You know, Emma is optimizing on life. She's not optimizing on maximizing the amount of wealth. And again, it's a spectrum, so I want to share with you the two ends of that. Now, if you're maximizing on life, you know, just make sure that you're not, and very few of us are going to have this challenge, but I'll just finish sharing my thoughts on this. You know, maximize on life, but also don't unnecessarily leave chips on the table, right? I mean, if you don't want to ever worry about your money, you can put it all in short-term U.S. treasuries, and which are backed by the U.S. government. The U.S. government owns the printing presses. You're going to get back your money, and if you're in treasuries that mature in 2 weeks, that's probably one of the most secure things that you can do. But you're probably likely over your lifetime going to leave a lot of chips on the table. Conversely, if you have this scarcity mentality, the first step is really acknowledging that you have this scarcity mentality and dig in and ask yourself, where is that coming from? You know, for me, it's an irrational fear, and that comes from my childhood. And I'm always going to deal with it, but I can tell you it doesn't determine my destiny now. It doesn't force me to make certain decisions that I may, as I get older, regret and turn down opportunities, turn down adventures. And that's really the sad thing, is when it steals from you some of the joy. Like, you know, I had a good time when I was in my 20s, but I could have had even a better time if I wasn't worried so much about saving. And now future me, you know, now Azul today is thanking 20-year-old Azul, but I also wish 20-year-old Azul had done even more adventures, had spent maybe a little bit more money. So it's a balancing act for all of us. And before I close, I want to share that the idea for this video came from a friend of mine's email newsletter. His name is Khe Hy. He spells his name unusual. It's Khe, and then he is Hy. I'll put a link to his website. It's called Rad Reads, and he's a very thoughtful person, thinks of deep thoughts like this. I also want to encourage you to watch this video here, which in the spirit of my friend Khe, this is my video, 8 things you should stop doing to enjoy your 60s more. I'll see you in there. Bye-bye.